think today is actually very special. And I think it's special for a reason that's probably a little different than you think I'll talk about. I used to work for President Clinton in the White House as Director of Defense Policy. One time, just before the commemoration of Normandy's 50th anniversary, and he was to go over there and speak, he decided to have into the White House to a private dinner 5 gentlemen who had landed on the beaches of Normandy in one of the most heroic battles of our nation, and there were many. That evening, he also invited into the White House 5 historians who looked at that battle through the prism of history that many of us read about, but not everyone, like Tom, has actually been out there in combat. That evening, one of the historians got up, and he told the president, as each of the men spoke, and it was his turn, his recollection of the studies of that war, of that battle. He talked about how the young men had landed on the beaches, and immediately all their officers were killed. Because in the German Teutonic mind, they believed that if you cut off the officer corps, the rest of the body of the American army would collapse, because that's how their army was constructed. This historian said, little did they know, the enlisted men of the United States Army. He said at first, these men, 18, 19, 20 years old, were digging themselves into the sand of Normandy, trying to hide from this reign of terror that was coming down upon them. As shell after shell from a division of artillery that the Germans had stationed on the cliff pounded away at them. And then this historian looked at the president and said, Mr. President, that's when you saw what makes America great. These young men from Los Angeles, New York City, Philadelphia, simply said amongst themselves, we're going to get the hell off this beach. And Mr. President, they picked themselves up by 2s and 3s, and they took those bluffs. And Mr. President, they went all the way to Berlin over the following months. And then he turned back to the president, and he looked at him one more time, and he pointed at him. He said, Mr. President, don't ever forget that whatever that it is, that somehow we instill in the youth of America to be like that, Mr. President, don't forget, that is the national treasure you must most cherish.